It's okay?
Yep.
Okay, then we'll call the policy committee meeting to order for November 10th, 2015. And have we been properly posted?
Yes, we have.
Okay. I don't see any citizens here, so our first action item is the approval of our minutes from October. Do I hear a motion on that?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I move to approve the policy committee minutes from our last meeting.
Okay, I shall second, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and we do have a quorum, so we're fine. And then we have one other action item. We're gonna be looking at the procurement card program, and you're gonna tell us about it, right, Mr.
Yeah,
Buck?
okay.
Or Todd, or both? Okay.
Last night, at the F&F committee, the concept of a procurement card was presented to the F&F committee. Per their meeting, they've asked that policy be developed to support this card in the system. And this policy that you have in front of you tonight, it comes from Darren, and it is the policy then for having procurement cards in the district. There's other information.
Basically what it is, it's similar to a credit card. You put limits on it.
You're right.
You know, one of the questions is what if someone, you know, brings in a bunch of, or purchases a bunch of stuff and they don't have receipts, well, then they have to pay for it.
Okay.
You know, the receipts have to come in. We've used credit cards and purchasing cards in other districts I was in, and they simply don't get paid until you bring the receipt.
The receipt, right.
And then, if there are no receipts, you, the individual, are responsible. The card is given to you, you're responsible for those
Okay.
payments. You know, you consider, well, people are gonna go off and go to shopping spree, and have a good time with it. Well, that's fine, but it's gonna
They're
come
responsible.
out of their paycheck or some other way that they're gonna have to pay for. So we'll have to be used responsibly. Second of all, unlike a credit card, you can put limits on it much lower than credit cards, so they can't go over a certain amount, which also protects the district as well. And then, of course, if there's any misuse of it,
Take it away.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think Darren believes it's gonna speed up payments to vendors, and it's also gonna speed up the purchase order process. A lot of times people will put those in, and it takes, you know, maybe weeks sometimes to get all the POs
Sure.
out, and in the meantime, people go without. So they're thinking there are some definite advantages to it in terms of less paperwork, less red tape, so.
Okay.
If,
Yes, please.
there was a wonderful explanation in the F&F, with the F&F material, and I spent time reading it this afternoon, and so I understand it, but I just, it doesn't really state who specifically will get one of these cards.
It's gonna be primarily principals and coordinators.
Oh, principals,
You
okay.
know, potentially a lead teacher here and there, but primarily it's administrators and
In
coordinators.
central office administrators?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any need for one.
Okay.
Someone like Joe might need one, or some of his staff, business staff, CNI staff, but only on a need to have basis.
Okay, question from the old days. When we used to have a budget day, then the teachers would put together their requests on a requisition form, and then I would sign it, and we would send it downtown, and then you would go through them and purchase the stuff and get it sent. It appears that now I could order it right from the building.
You can, you know, and in fact,
Save a lot of
the
time.
bulk purchasing primarily applies to things like paper and so on, which will continue to purchase in bulk, but so many of the things that we get, you know, office supplies are already discounted, whether you buy one or whether you buy 100. So, you know, you can go on Staples, we have an account with Staples, you can go on and order things, and it gets charged to your account and goes to the right places. But with the P card, you eliminate a few steps, and it hopefully saves all the paperwork
And time.
Yeah.
And time.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question would be, I'm a building principal, do I call someone and ask for permission to buy, those
No, we're gonna,
requests for classrooms?
we're gonna trust people, you know? If
Okay.
you're a principal and you're at a reading conference and here's a set of reference books that
Right,
you think
right.
would be fantastic for your staff, you've got the purchase card, you can go and do
Okay.
it, you know? I mean, like I said, if we see where it's not being used properly, it goes away, but, if you look, I mean, we just had an audit report last night, we've got a very, very clean audit, and they audit a lot of those expenditures, so people are using their funds right, and whether you have a purchasing card or a PO system, the PO system doesn't prevent you from buying inappropriate things, it just takes longer.
May I
So,
ask one
so
more?
this just speeds it up, and I would expect our
Okay.
principals to use it appropriately.
I'd like to ask one more question, if I may. There used to be an amount for from the budget that was allotted to each school annually. Does that still exist?
They still get a same
Okay.
budget.
Will that, if you use that card, will your site funds pay for that?
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
So
we
it's
could
not
charge
over and
back to-
above?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But the advantage then is that
They
you
get it quicker,
expedite
yeah.
all the paperwork we
Yeah.
used to have to do and the ordering and the waiting.
Yep,
Very good. Well, that's what I got out of here, so, very good. That's gonna be a good system. Very good.
I did have a question too, or maybe a question and a half. I understand from reading this in the business description that F&F obviously wants us to act on this as a policy matter. So what I'm assuming then is that we approve and bring forward the concept.
right.
Then specific guidelines, which I assume at some point will be written, not just what you
Yeah.
told us verbally, that will be F&F?
That'll be F&F, that's my understanding.
Okay, because they haven't done it yet.
No, I understand that, but they wanted policy to act first, and then
Okay.
they would, put the finishing touches on it.
Okay.
And why I think the policy is for legal purposes,
Okay.
and then the language of how it's used and what it's used for will be F&F.
Okay, and so they will have a meeting where they'll hone the guidelines specifically, and then it'll come
At
forward in
least one meeting, yeah,
December.
at least one.
Yeah, okay. So
Probably
the earliest
more.
it'll come forward is December, but we.
Yeah, I'm expecting probably January,
January,
to
okay.
be tired out, so.
All right. Yes, Ms. Persing.
So would you call this an explanation of the program, or is this the handbook?
That's an explanation. I think
Yeah.
the actual handbook would be something, a separate item. I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a big confusing thing. It's basically a credit card with specific limits on it. You know, you can't go get cash
Right.
out of an ATM and those kind of things. So it's going to be a very limited use type of, that's why it's a purchasing card, not a credit card. Otherwise, we could just get credit cards, but of course, those don't have the controls on that we would put on these.
Right.
Right.
Because this is really, this was an excellent description, but it's kind of handbook-ish,
Yeah,
But it doesn't have the specific guidelines, so I look
No.
forward to seeing those in writing. Okay, it sounds like those will come forward. So to help F&F by adopting this as a concept, I think we entertain a motion that we then can send back to F&F.
Okay, Madam Chairman, I would move that we approve the potential new policy number 3310, procurement card program, as presented.
And I shall second that. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It passes 2-0. Thank you. And we'll look forward to seeing the details of that. We also have as information item, and I think that, just to highlight it, and Joe, stop me if I'm not being thorough here, but the policy that we did adopt is going to be presented tomorrow night, and we will ask for no second reading.
That is
So we'll
correct.
ask that the second reading be waived so that we can get this transportation
Yep,
policy adopted.
as well as the IEE policy.
Okay, so that is our agenda for tomorrow night.
Just have a question, yes. That transportation policy, I remember it, but I There's really nothing in there that says where we stop and where we don't stop, is
No,
there?
I hope there never will be, because
Yeah.
that would be a huge, huge mess.
Absolutely.
That changes not only each summer, but even sometimes during the year when things change.
Right. Although the general guidelines are in there,
Yeah,
but that's fine.
yeah.
General guidelines. and-
Yeah, but I think this really adds some detail. I mean, there were items in that particular, the previous policy that directed us, but there wasn't enough detail, and it was questionable, and people could say, well, we don't view it that way. Now it clears up some of the issues that we've been dealing with.
Yes.
I'm driving you crazy. A question about the independent education evaluation. Okay, so, if I have a child, or I have, a guardianship of a grandchild or a foster child, and I think that child needs to be evaluated for possible special education needs, but you don't think so, then what? We're gonna do it anyway?
I mean, as a school system, if a written referral for an evaluation comes in, we have to honor that.
Okay,
So that there's not.
that's what I thought.
That's the first step towards addressing a special ed evaluation. If we do an evaluation and the conclusion of that evaluation comes into
Right.
question, that's where the independent evaluation policy then would help guide what our next steps are. And that's the
what I thought.
benefit of having that in place.
I just wanted to, have that reclarified.
Right, and I think our minutes, to a certain extent, show our
Yes.
discussion was that as well as financial coverage.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Anything else that we need to address? Okay, then are we all ready for tomorrow night? Veterans Day, tomorrow. Okay, then I believe we are adjourned, and thank you very much, sir.